Hi everybody, welcome back to Mountaineer Bushcraft and Survival Systems. Today we're going to make the super match. So you want to learn how to make this thing? Stay tuned and we'll get right into that. Okay, for starters, we're just going to go ahead and before we get to making this, we're going to light this bad boy off and show you guys just how effective it is. So just stick with me here and we'll get her down here on the little stump top, get this guy lit up so you get an idea of how well these things actually work. Okay guys, we got our strike anywhere matches, and we're just going to use the striker on the side of the box itself. Pretty windy, so I'm trying to make sure I don't get blowed out prematurely on me. Now, as you can see, that this is going to have a pretty decent burn time. Just go ahead and let that run through its burn here. Everybody don't want to watch that, feel free, but some people may actually want to see in real time just how long this thing will burn. Most of these I'd say you get a guaranteed minute to 2 minutes out of. That's a pretty large, pretty hot flame too. So this is quite useful. This really turns a match into something far more reliable for getting a fire started out in the woods. So adding several of these to your gear, it really help making a emergency fire a lot more simpler. But the wax that's inside that cotton ball, of course, obviously this acts kind of like a candle, is how we're getting this accomplished. Now, if you use petroleum jelly, I don't know how well that would work because it'll turn into a liquid quite fast on you. The staying power of the wax is why I prefer wax instead of petroleum jelly. Now it's getting all close to the finger, so I want to move that. Accidentally broke that when I struck it. Hands are really cold. It's freezing out here. But we're still going. All right, that wasn't too hateful. All right, guys, we'll get everything set up for you here, and we'll show you real quick how to make these. It's quite simple, quite fast. You can sit down, take your time. You can make lots of these, and these are available in most places, hardware stores, even some dollar stores even carry these. But stick around. We'll get to making some of these up, and hope you all enjoy the video. Alrighty, guys. We're going to go ahead and start getting everything ready to make our super matches. I'm going to use a little isobutane stove today. Pretty simple one. Came from Temu, I believe. They got this as a Christmas present. So I think this will actually be a little more stable than the stove that we use to make the dipped the lint we use to make our other fire starters. Now it's really cold out, so hopefully that won't negatively impact our. This is from that previous video. It's our wax. Okay, we can spread the little legs out on this. Now, that actually seems more stable. I kind of like that. Less likely we'll have an accident that way. Get that into focus just a little better. There we go. Now, we shouldn't need a very large flame for this. I do know the isobutane burns quite hot, and it comes in a nice little plastic carrying case. All right, what else you're going to need for this? These aren't as good as they used to be back in the day. They're strike anywhere matches, and obviously cotton balls. I doubt if I'm the first one ever came up with this idea, but I kind of came up with the idea several years back, and I've made several of them. I've given quite a few of them away to other people. And there we go. So that bag was not wanting to open. But now ideally with these, they're made for you to stick in any little fire kit you got. They actually are pretty nice to store in an Altoids tin. And since they're strike anywhere matches, you can actually use some sandpaper instead of worrying about the actual strikers, striking surface. So that's pretty handy. You don't have to worry about getting a special striking pad. Just get something like, I'd say you're probably good to even striking on somewhere around 200 grit sandpaper. It'd be just fine. But this is going to take a little while for this to actually get melted to where we can use it. So I'll go ahead and cut the camera here, and I'll come back whenever we actually get this ready to go. All right, guys, we're back. That really didn't take too long, maybe 7-8 minutes. It nearly is all completely melted. All right. So the procedure's pretty simple. Take your match. Grab a cotton ball here. I tend to take the cotton ball, and I'm not going to use nearly all this cotton ball. So what I'm going to do is kind of unfurl it from itself. And kind of straighten her out and get just below the tip of the match head. So I'm going to take a little bit off the side because I don't need it quite that long either. I'm going to do a wrap. Kind of putting a lot of pressure there about ripping it, but I'm going to try to keep that pretty tight to the match head. You get about 2.5 wraps on that. Then we're literally just going to rip that off. Maybe. Well, that is a stubborn cotton ball. All right, now you have all this fluffy tail end stuff, and I'll just take it in my fingers here. We'll just wrap it around here, kind of get it to smooth out. We're going to immediately dip that into the wax. Just a real quick dip, not holding it in there. And wait to let it cool down just a hair. I want to straighten that out just a little bit better. Well, I'm not going to do it while it's really, really hot and don't want to burn yourself. All right, lightly wipe that off the tip a little bit. There we go. That was not a very pretty one, but that'll still do. Now then, the thing is just repeating the process, you know, for as many matches you want to make. Typically, the way I just look at this, each one of these I make is a fire. So you can make a bunch of these to store away and keep. They'll last for a very long time. Even that little shred right there will work. And obviously, it's not quite easy to get these perfectly even. So, you know, you may have some that will burn a lot longer than others, but for the most part, you'll get quite a substantial long burn compared to just a normal, using just the match itself normally. So the idea of that, you know, obviously is to increase your burn time. That way, you got a far greater chance of getting a fire going if you're in some adverse conditions and you're not dealing with the greatest quality materials. That's a pretty good wrap right there. And we'll just give her a quick dip. It's pretty cold, so it won't take long for that to harden up. That, I got a little bit of that on the head of the match, some of that. So we'll just kind of rub that off that match head. Yeah. And that right there is what I call a super match. And, you know, it's like I said, I highly doubt if I'm the first individual to come up with that idea, but I had thought of doing that, I'm going to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 some odd years ago. And they work pretty decent. And like I said, these are quite nice. They're fairly small. You can add several of them in your kits, and they do fit quite nicely in something small and compact like an Altoids tin. Just put you some like a piece of sandpaper in there for a striker, or if you're so inclined, you can cut the striking pad off of a matchbook and throw it in there if you want. I like to use sandpaper because it's fairly tough. That one's pretty thin, so that one won't burn quite as long as the other two I just made. But, you know, if you're going shy on space, you need them a little bit thinner. I mean, it's not a problem. That'll still burn for quite a long time right there. I would dare say almost 2 minutes, minute and a half for sure, burn time on that one. And it's just as simple as that. So that's something pretty easy anybody can do to make themselves a pretty reliable fire kit. Obviously, you don't want to rely on just that. You always bring multiples. So you always have, me personally, I think you should have a minimum of 3 ways to make fire on your person when you're going out. If you want more than that, you know, more the merrier. But, well, I hope that's been informative and helpful. No need to drag the video on much past that. So I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. I like to get this channel to grow. And I do appreciate your all's time. And with that, I will see you all in another video.